Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to an exciting interview on the Triple B Experience. I've known this gentleman for a long time. We've been passing each other at his place about talking about actually doing this. We actually are doing this now. So I want to, and it's my pleasure of bringing him in the studio. The man who does boxing in Indiana County, the man who will beat you down if need be, but also will train you just the same. I want to welcome to the Triple B Experience my friend Brandon Watkins, owner of Watkins Boxing. Brandon, how you doing?
Good, Bubba. How you doing?
Good. Did you like that interview?
Yeah, I did. I did.
The opening interview. Well, the interview's coming. So let's how did me and you actually meet, Brandon? If you can
We
recall.
met at Sobex. I want to say it's been 2, 4, 6, 9 years ago.
Oh my God, where does time
Yeah,
go, Brandon?
I know. It's been flying.
Yeah. So what did you do? What did you do at Sobix that I introduced myself to you? If you can
I think
recall.
that you were looking to get in shape, and you see
That's
us
always
because I mean it was you literally are like the one of the first guys I trained. So I mean you're like the OG. So I mean you're like the
Oh,
original
God bless you.
the original member of Watkins Boxing and
Oh,
still
God
an
bless
active
you.
member. So the longest member in counting right now.
Oh God, I'm gonna put that on my
Mhm.
monarchy. Yeah, the longest member. Yeah.
Yep.
So we met at Sobix, and then it was like a little back room where we trained and stuff, and you
Yeah, we
know,
started all the magic happened in the back cardio room. I forget what the space was, but it was super small. We were working with what little bit of equipment that we had
right.
and what people try to do in between our workouts. So it was a lot of things going on trying to interfere with our workouts, but I mean we got it done. It
Yeah.
was definitely a good
Yeah,
time.
I just want to add, like, the reason why I went to Brandon, everybody, I had I got assaulted in my job, and my reflexes were very slow. I suffered from 2 concussions. Not in the wrestling business because I used to be a pro, whatever. But I wanted to get a little bit more faster and a little bit more technique to actually defend myself in the job that I do, and that's why I went to Brandon to try to get better, to be a little bit more faster, and to teach myself some defense, which I actually did because I could never ever touch Brandon when we did very light sparring. I don't think I've ever
You
touched
hit
him.
me a couple times. Don't
Uh,
don't don't discredit yourself too much. You got a
oh,
couple good hits in.
well, yeah, but you were going 2%, so your 2% is like my 150%. Ladies and gentlemen, I could never catch him. But you moved from that facility. You went to another place. You know.
Yeah, I kind of bounced around the whole plaza. I went to the nail salon, what used to be a nail salon.
Okay.
It was a little bit bigger of a space, but I didn't really feel like that was a good place to call a boxing gym. I stayed there for probably about 2 years, and then
Let me ask you, why didn't you think that?
Because when you have this impression of a boxing gym, you think of, like a big warehouse, a whole bunch of bags, boxing ring, all that stuff. And I just didn't really have it. I had like something smaller. So I didn't really have what I thought in my head was the ideal place to box.
Okay.
But I knew it was a slow process. I knew, I just had to build myself up to it.
Okay. So let's before we get to where you're at now, let's go back in time to actually when you were younger, and what made you get into this type of sport, because it's one of the greatest sports known to man. What
Mhm.
made you become and want to do this, and what was your basis on the love of boxing, Brandon?
So I've been into martial arts pretty much my whole entire life. I used to watch a
Okay.
lot of martial arts movies. Bruce Lee, he was a very big inspiration for boxing and for martial arts, period. Um, I read his Tao of Jeet Kune Do book, and it went over a lot of boxing, philosophies, a lot of boxing techniques that I really wasn't aware of. And when I started reading about it, it was eye opener. I instantly got addicted to it. His whole philosophy of Jeet Kune Do, not having a martial art that's, set with patterns and different kinds of techniques of, mainly like a broader scale of martial arts that
I did
incorporated anything.
I did
So
not know that Bruce did that stuff with boxing. I did not know that until you just told me.
me neither. He's definitely been around a lot of high level guys. He talks about Muhammad Ali and some of his notes, and Gene Lapel. He's a really good judo guy. He talks about a lot of good stuff that you really wouldn't find him talking about, being more of a kicking guy. But that's really what sparked my love of boxing. I
Okay.
was always into Ninja Turtles and Power
Okay.
Rangers, stuff like that. So like all that stuff kind of intrigued me, and I just kind of ran with it.
So you were younger when you, due to the fact that you said you just used to watch the pulp culture in that time of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the martial arts and stuff. So you were younger when you wanted to get into boxing, or was it more
Um,
mixed? Was it more of the martial arts?
Martial arts, I started doing Taekwondo when I was 8. So
Oh wow.
I was into martial arts at a young age. I felt like Taekwondo, even though it helped me along with my martial arts, it didn't make me feel like I knew how to protect myself. I don't want to talk about anything bad, but the first little fight that I got into, I didn't kick at all. So I was just like, I need to get my hands better.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's when I really started getting into boxing. There wasn't really a lot of things around here, so I had to kind of go out and try to find different gyms and different people that would help me with my martial arts. And later on, more MMA, but boxing is really my favorite out
So
of all
we're
of them.
and you said since Indiana County is not wasn't known. I remember Buggies, but Buggies wasn't around. I don't. It wasn't real big. It was bigger in the '70s, I think, mid early
Mhm.
'80s. So it's probably way before your time. Not mine, but you're very very young. But where did you go, like to go find boxing training facilities
Um,
at?
I went to a couple different places that just offered striking. I went to High Ground that had Muay Thai. I did things at PA Combat Sports in Greensburg, which was more of like a mixed martial arts, jiu-jitsu, boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai. And I went to a place in Monroeville called Olympus. That was like a main boxing gym. And there was another place. There was another place in Cambria County. I forget the name of it. I think it's Extreme MMA that I went to.
So you're doing
I
a lot of
wasn't there very
traveling.
long.
But you were
Yeah,
doing a
I
lot of
mean,
traveling. Wow.
yeah. It was like I said, to try to find places. It was the hardest part. I had to commute to every place that I went, so it was driving. Half hour and 30 minutes to whatever gym I was going to. But
Okay.
I enjoyed it. I really did. It took a lot.
Okay. So who was probably the best instructor in all these facilities that you
Mm.
actually, or there's probably a few. I just don't
Mm.
want to limit to one, but I mean the instructors, because you took a little bit off of everybody, I'm sure.
Yes. My favorite boxing coach, his name is Dave Schultz. He teaches now for Ground Zero in Latrobe. But he was the guy that I kind of emulated the most, and I got the most from.
Hmm.
I worked with him probably the most, and he's probably the only guy that really seriously beat me up. So yeah,
Well,
yeah,
that means he was actually able to touch you because
yes, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
okay. So
He's the only one that really gave me problems.
this guy got to be fast then, because I know I've
Yeah,
seen you in action and you're pretty fast.
yeah.
So
He's
does he still train? Do you know of?
Yes, he still
Okay.
trains. He actually they came to our gym last year, actually this year too, and last year as well, with some guys that they had and they trained, which were really, really good. Out of all the guys that we've been to as far as the gyms go so far, his
Uh-huh.
guys are probably the most talented guys.
Okay. So, like you were younger, you were training all over the place, and did you have any boxing? Did you ever have a big time? How many boxing Did you ever box, like,
Yes, yeah,
got a
I did.
record? Okay.
I never got into it seriously because at the time my kids, like I had kids super young, so it
Okay.
was either trying to go after my dreams or trying to make a living for my kids. and that kind of overcrowded, me being out there and doing my MMA career and all that stuff. I did a lot of exhibition fights. I went to other gyms and fought. I just wasn't able to really get my boxing career off because I ended up going into construction. So I did that for a good number of years, and that took up a lot of my time and my efforts. And literally falling on this whole boxing and coaching was like by accident. It wasn't in my plans of
how so by accident, though, if you don't mind elaborating just a little bit more.
Well, I was going to Sobex at the time, and I didn't realize my membership expired. And I was yanking on the door, pulling it, and this one huge guy comes over and was like, "Hold on 1 second," and he lets me in the door, and then I'm just like, "Okay, geez, I'm an idiot," Went and paid for my month. Went down the first machine I got to. The guy sat right next to me and was like, "Hey, heard you can box. You want to teach me?" And I was like, not really. And then the owner came up to me and was like, "Hey, I got a lot of people wanting to know if you teach." And I kept passing them off saying, no, no, no. And eventually I kind of broke and was like, yeah, okay, let's do it. And I was excited, but I was scared at the same time because I've never taught people who did not know how to actually throw their hands. I've taught people who knew how to actually, ones and twos, threes and fours, but nobody from scratch. So like the first, I think it was like 4 months, I just did it for free, just to try to get my teaching ability up, and being able to articulate things where people can understand them. So, I didn't take any money for the first 4 months that I did it, just because I didn't feel like I was good enough, and then things started picking up, I started getting better at it. The classes and the lessons started getting, more busier. So that's whenever I decided to take it to the next level and get my own business. And the rest
speaking of that, was you apprehensive jumping from that to what you're doing now? I mean,
oh yeah, of course.
it's huge.
That's a huge risk that you take. I had a good job. I was making 25 an hour, benefits, all that. To give all that up to do something that you think might work was very, very scary. There was a lot of people telling me yes, and there was some people telling me you're crazy, which I thought I was crazy. Well, I didn't think it would end up being this big. I thought I'd probably do it for maybe a couple years, and then I'd probably go back to work on the bridges.
Now, when you wanted to do this business, did you look around and see if anything was in Indiana County? Because you never know. Some people might have been doing some kind of boxing, because sometimes people don't market right or promote their stuff that they have. Did you look around and research the area for some kind of maybe boxing training that was already out there that you didn't know of?
Well, I knew that there was a couple programs that people were doing, but it was more or less like conditioning and like more or less to get in shape, which was cool. But I liked it. I like doing things like technically, I was more about technique than I was about getting in shape. So I knew there really wasn't like that around here. Like there was nothing. Like I've been around here for a while. I've tried to go to different things, and I knew there really wasn't that much in Indiana County because I was having.
You've been here, and you're an Indiana County original. You never.
Yes.
You were born and raised.
I was not born, but I was raised here.
Okay.
So I've been here since an infant, and I went to school at Rain Township, Marion Center. So yeah.
Stinger. Okay. Yeah. Green and gold. Okay. Yeah. So did you have to talk to somebody and doing this business stuff, because it's very stressful and it's very tedious? Did you actually, who was the first person that you broke the news to that you wanted to do this? And like for business?
My girlfriend. And she looked at me like I was crazy. Like, okay, you really think you can do this? And that kind of put like doubt in my head. But I felt like I'd rather do something that I like, instead of doing something that I hate for the rest of my life. If I could make a living out of it, I would try to do it and do as much as I can to make that happen.
Okay.
Not a lot of people can say that they are making a living out of something that they love doing.
Not many
So
people can,
me,
because
yeah,
everybody
I
does
can't.
the 7 to 3 routine stuff. Yeah, I mean, I do it, and I've done some stuff that I love, but it wasn't like anywhere that you're doing it, and doing in Indiana County, and actually having the people in the community actually support you and come. And I'm there, people. I see it. I see it firsthand. So you went, and your girlfriend, you didn't let her sway you. So you went from the smaller Sobek situation to another facility, the other
Mhm,
facility, and then you went to another facility, and you
mhm.
were keep getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Now there's a lot of pressure when you're moving and doing stuff. Or is there
Oh
pressure
yeah.
into that?
Yeah, it's not fun moving. Anybody who's moved locations, whether it be a house or a business, there's a lot that goes into it, a lot of money, a lot of time. By the last time I pretty much got it down because I moved from Sobex, I moved to the nail salon, then I went from the nail salon to the teachers education place that sold a whole bunch of teacher equipment. That was a lot bigger, but it still didn't have that boxing feel to it. Um,
What's a boxing feel to it, if you don't mind me
like I
asking?
said, like more of like a warehouse, kind of like a big ceiling. You
Like
see the
Rocky, like
ring.
the images of Rocky the movie.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I
Okay.
was trying to get. And I came onto that place kind of by accident again. When COVID happened, the people that own what used to be Play Ball Sports, they kind of were like, hey, my kids, they all grew up, they're out, they're not doing baseball, softball no more. So they wanted out. And the owner of the building was like, hey, listen, if you want to take this spot up, it kind of looks more like a boxing gym. So if you want to do that, you can do that. And I was like, right now, money's kind of slim. Gyms were shut down.
Yeah, it was a tough
Again,
time.
yeah, it was like a gamble. Again, like I was sitting there thinking, like, okay, if this doesn't work, what's gonna happen? But I took a chance, and I had a lot of people help me out, and which I'm really grateful for. And it kind of worked. So, sometimes you got to take that chance, take that roll of dice.
Well, you're a hell of a gambler.
I
Now,
know.
but the
I'm horrible at
facility,
gambling alone. Like, oh boy. But yeah,
well,
it definitely worked out.
it's bigger, and
Hmm.
we have some pictures that you took that let's first off, I'm gonna go with this logo here. I This logo is green
Yes.
your color?
Yes. Green is my fave.
Okay, well, okay. It's a hell of a logo, people. Now we got some pictures. Now, if you want to, I'm going to put them up, and if you could describe, briefly
Hmm.
or whatever, we can talk about some stuff on these pictures.
Hmm.
You know,
Okay, so that is the S&T class. I do classes for the S&T recreation. I do them seasonal.
nice, cool.
This season, I did not participate just because I wasn't sure of the events that we're doing, so I opted out. But I will start back up this fall. That class was actually pretty good because I got 3 kids to come and join out of those kids. So that was really exciting. I still teach them to this day. That I think that class was last year's class.
Uh huh.
Last year, I think around this time. So I think it's been a year so far.
Okay, well, I just want to say, and I'm not here to do what I see it firsthand on how you interact with every kid that comes in your place is astounding. You work on them one on one. You have your classes, and I've seen some little kids. I've seen you have girls in your classes that are
Mhm.
beating up the boys. I mean, I think it's great. But you have some kind of I don't know what it is. You're like a Pied Piper when it comes to the little people, and they seem to respect you, and they seem to want to obtain that knowledge that you have for the sport of boxing. And if anybody's out there that listens to this podcast, this interview, and you're looking to have your kids come, I'm telling you, I've seen it firsthand as I'm hitting the bags on the other side. Brandon's classes, he teaches them, he talks to them. It's more your gym, and probably like any other gym in around here. It's more
laid
closeness
back.
and cohesiveness and family. Everybody there's no egos and there's no, I'm going to say it because I can't, there's no bullshit. So I could say that. You know what I mean? Like everybody's cool, everybody, and what you do with those kids in your group and your classes are phenomenal. I mean, I've seen a whole bunch of kids. So yeah, I just wanted to tell you that, because it's the truth. I've seen it, people. It's I don't know what you do. I mean, they might be they might be screaming at their mom or dad out in the parking lot. They come to your place and they're on their best behavior, coach, coach, coach. They're not giving you any slack. Now, mom and dad didn't buy them a toy or something. You know what I mean?
With the kids, it's more or less patience. I think kids like to have attention. If you show kids a little bit of attention and kind of talk to them on a level that they can kind of relate to and understand, and you're not bashing them or chastising them or treating them like they're just another kid. You got to make them feel special. You got to make them feel like what they're doing is actually working. So I mean, really, it's a lot of patience with kids. And for me, I feel like I'm still kind of a kid, so I can kind of relate to them, a little bit. So,
well, me too. Maybe that's why I'm so engulfed. I don't know. Maybe it's so enthused when I come. So, okay, this next picture.
Okay, so that is in Maryland. That was for the certification for coaching. Coaches have to go through certain levels of certifications. Most of the coaches that actually coach do not go past the level green. Green is the first level of coaching. That class that we went to was a bronze level of coaching. So we actually had to go to Maryland and stay for a weekend and do 16 hours of classes where you're, sitting in the seat for a little bit, then you're getting up and doing some drills and, they have you teach a group, which was easy for me because I'm used to teaching. And then doing a simulation of somebody being in the corner, which was a little interesting for me because our guys, we haven't started competing until last year. So it was kind of new for me on that, but I enjoyed every minute of it. All the guys there were awesome.
So
two of my guys,
bronze, you're at a bronze stage now, and then
yes.
you gold. Okay, so you can
so the levels are kind of hard because the levels, like silver level is like up there, so
okay.
It's definitely like taking kids to different countries and stuff like that.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, that's like a bigger scale. Like I'm able to do things within the United States.
Okay.
The gold level is like Olympics and stuff like that, professional, which eventually we're gonna get to, but I'm content with taking things one step at a time. Gotcha. We have guys competing in amateur events, Golden Gloves and stuff like that. So, like I said, this has gone further than what I thought it was ever going to go. And I'm just happy right now from where we're at. We have an event coming up in August. So we're trying to get the guys ready for that. We just had a whole bunch of events in April, February, May. So, we're exhausted, but we're ready to get back into the competitive line of things. So
there's no off season. There's no off season in boxing.
Not really, like boxing, you play it, whenever there's events that pop up, you want to take advantage of them because you want your guys to get as much experience as possible. We're taking the guys to different gyms and sparring and whatnot. We went to Castle Boxing in Johnstown, which was an awesome gym. Brock, the coach, is an awesome coach. We're going to Jack's Boxing Gym in July. Jack Mook, he's a really good coach, has a lot of guys, a lot of experienced guys, a lot of professional guys. So we're going to try to get some good work out of that, their gym and their guys there. But we're constantly trying to find different areas, different places. Like I said, there's not a lot of places around here, so you got to travel.
Right. Well, it's Indiana, Pennsylvania,
Yes.
Yeah, we got a Dunham's coming in. Yay. We're good.
Yeah, right?
So, yeah. So, okay, this picture here.
Okay, so that is that's a picture of a sparring event that I had with two other gyms. We had Ground Zero, the gym I was talking about with my boxing coach, and we had Flood City come up. So we had a lot of guys come. a lot of guys compete. You know, like I said, we try to go to different gyms and also have guys coming from other gyms to our gym, because you get kind of used to the same thing, get kind of used to the same guys. So you want to kind of branch out and find some different work and see how you do against guys from other gyms. You know, so we, you know, our gym right now is the only gym in Indiana. So it's, you know, guys from like Latrobe, Johnstown, Pittsburgh, Butler come out. So, you know,
that was a big class. That was huge.
Yeah, that was a big one. That was a really good one.
Yeah.
Really,
okay.
really good sparring session.
And this one?
Okay, so that's us going. That's Castle. You know, that's a really good gym. They just got a whole bunch of new stuff. The guys there, you got Colt on the left, you got Joey next to him. Joey does MMA. He has a fight coming up in August as well. You got Lily. She's the female girl. She has a competition coming up in July. Sam, hopefully has a fight coming up in August. Really talented kid. Like, he's probably the most technically sound kid that I have, and he's only 16.
Oh, wow.
The kid is super talented. Like, you cannot ask for a better kid. He goes there, gives 110%, is sweating in the warm-ups. You know, he just goes full tilt. And then you got her dad, Lily's dad, right next to her. You got my boy Joe. He's a coach. He does a lot. He went with us at Maryland for the coaching certification. He comes to all the events. He helps with the classes. His daughters come to the classes. Molly, she's a beast. We usually have Molly. Yeah, Molly just goes out there and beats up on the guys. But yeah, good family, good guys, good people.
And I like the hoodies. You got your own sports attire.
Yeah,
I see that.
Yep. Yeah. Different colors. You can get them different sizes, hoodies. We can come out with tank tops, shorts, you know, but just trying to get the name out there, trying to get people.
Yeah. That's the hardest thing. And that's why I appreciate you jumping on this interview. And I'm you know, this is my first interview with someone who has a business in the area. So, and plus, you know, it's a great place. So, I mean, I'm trying to do my damnedest to do whatever I can do too. So we're gonna go back to some
you do
pictures.
A lot. Bubba, you are like the promoting king. Okay, what I lack in promoting, you make up for. You know, so if I could take pages out of your book, I would definitely do so, because
but you're living your dream. You're doing it. I would love to. Yeah. You're, and God bless you. And I know it'd be. And I used to run professional wrestling shows, and I was always stressed out. So. I mean,
it's nothing stressed.
I know, and it's also to have a good staff. Yeah, and this one.
Actually. Okay, so that was the first event that we had. That was at the Shrine. It was a big, huge event. The biggest one we had so far. Everybody was in like suits and ties and dresses and all that, and all of our guys were just like street clothes, and we're like, "What's going on here?" That's Jake. Jake is one of my fighters. He's 21, really good, talented kid, natural talent, you know, comes to me and was like, "Hey, can I, you know, start fighting for you?" I'm like, "Awesome. Yes." So he's one of my first fighters that I ever had out there. I hopefully can get him in this card in August. But really talented kid, super cool, super nice. But just a machine. Like, the kid is, he's a beast.
Well, that's good. And none of your people that you try to get out there have, like I said, no egos, no attitudes.
No, none at all.
Yeah,
none at all.
Yeah, they're great guys.
Yeah, everybody who comes in for sparring, I tell them like, "Hey, listen, you know, we go based off of how hard you want to go. You know, you're not going to go in there and just get completely wrecked. You know, that's not what this is about. You're not going to learn anything like that. We're not going to feed you to the wolves. You know, if you're learning and want to start out, we're going to take it one step at a time. You know, everybody thinks that when you go into a boxing gym, you're going to see all these guys with the shirt off, sweating, you know, you get thrown in there and just get beat up. It's not like that. You know, you don't learn anything like that. There's no ego involved. You know, anytime somebody's going too hard on somebody, just tone it down. We say, be very vocal, say, you know, "Hey, listen, can we go slower? Can you go a little, you know, a little easier on me?" And then the guy should respect that. You know, we go to the other gyms to be able to go 100% or however percent they want to go. That's where we go and get the hard work in. You know, doing it with your teammates are supposed to help you. You know, they're not supposed to be terrified of you and like, "Oh, I don't want to go in there with Jacob because he beats me up so much." It's not like that.
Right. Yeah, they got to it's more of the technique and the sound
Mm-hmm.
technique that you want to do. Do you want to be sound? Because if you don't
Yeah.
have any technique, if I believe if you drop your hands because you're tired, that means you got to get your cardio a little bit more so your
Mm-hmm.
hands don't go down.
Yes. Always something to work on.
I know
No
somebody
big.
told me that many times.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go with another picture here.
Okay, so Hayden. Okay, so he is. I've had Hayden since he first started off. So he was the quiet kid, didn't say nothing, real small, real timid, and he just kept coming to the classes. Not the best athlete, not the most coordinated person, but what he lacks in those areas, he makes up for in heart and resilience.
You can't
The
measure that.
kid
You
is
cannot
a
measure that. You can't
no,
measure
not at
heart.
all. You
Yeah.
can't teach that. Some of the
Uh-uh.
kids come in there and they're athletes, but they don't have the heart. They don't want to get punched in the face. They don't want to go out there and battle somebody. And that's what kind of boxing is about. It doesn't always have to be like that, but if you want to compete, you kind of have to have like a beast mentality. And Hayden has that mentality. He went out there and won that fight and was super ecstatic. He plays rugby too, and I even asked him like, what did you enjoy better? Like, did you enjoy winning, your championship game in rugby, or did you like winning your match? And he's like, there was nothing else besides winning that match. Like, nothing felt more like I did everything. When
Right.
you're in a team sport, you have to share that with other people. Whenever he's out there getting his hand raised, it's only him, So he's the only kid right now that I had from the ground up that's going in there and doing stuff. He won
Sweet.
Golden Gloves for his division. So that right there was like, okay, what I'm doing is actually working. It's I'm doing something. That right there made me feel like, okay, I'm a coach. I'm a
all
boxer.
your work you put into it, you felt the fruits of your labor, and it's
Right
like
there.
the pressure of lifted off your shoulders because
Yes.
that solidified
Mhm.
you. And when you were getting ready to sign your business proposal, that solidified you as being not a pretender, a major
Yes.
contender in the area for doing what you do with that.
Because
That's
everybody's like Watkins Boxing and Muay Thai. Like, what's this? Well, who are they? What are they doing here? And whenever he competed, even Jake, they were like, okay, this kid's for
Mhm.
real now. Okay, this guy's actually doing stuff. So they'll contact me about events, and doing stuff because they know that we come and all our guys are on weight. All of our guys come there and fight. Nobody backs out. So everything is serious.
Well, let me ask you a question. You know, have you had since you do this, have you had somebody like badmouth what you're doing and some people, you're being successful and people don't like success and people are jealous. Have you heard people or situations where it was a negative aspect of what you're trying to do? Because some people in this area are negative. They are, and they don't like to see people be successful.
Yeah,
I can say it. I don't want to. I'm not trying to put you on the spot. You don't have to say it.
no.
But I mean, I've never heard. I've always heard good stuff. I never heard because if I ever heard anything bad about your establishment anyway, I'd be the first one to say something anyway because I'm very opinionated and I would shut them up. But still, I mean, people. Well, but some people are in this town, in this area. It's
Yeah.
just that they don't like success. You
Yes.
know,
They don't like change either. They don't like things different. In boxing, they look at it as like a violent sport. Are you going to teach my kid this? You're going to do that. I never really got that in the beginning. When we were back in that cardio room, you had your meatheads that were, say like stuff and this and that.
yeah, yeah.
Until I
But
had to shut one of them up. But that's a different story.
well, but also too, it's different when you're lifting weights, and also too when you're looking in the mirror and you're trying to. None of those people are going that I've seen are posing and going to the Arnold Classic anytime soon.
Right.
So, and I've seen people, and there's a lot of egos in the gyms that
Mhm.
have weights.
Yes. Yes.
There's no egos in your facility, and I
No.
had to deal with some egos, in the gym myself. But it was different stuff. And I remember the old days when you had it in that back room. There was a lot of
Yes, a lot of hate.
A lot of hate, and they didn't. Yeah, and I wasn't into that, but I just wanted to say that
Yeah, it
you didn't have
happens.
it.
People that don't understand it, they fear it, and people like when they fear something, they want to make fun of it. You know what I'm saying? To make it seem like it's not that big of a deal. Like it's stupid. Look at them back there trying to do some Taibo stuff. You know what I'm saying? Which all those guys that say that can't fight their way out of a paper bag. So I
Well,
mean,
or they can't do the mountain.
I
They
know what you're
can't do
talking
the
about.
mountain, and they try, ladies and gentlemen, to do this. Why don't you explain the mountain to the people that don't know what the mountain is? Which to me was the worse than gassers, playing high school football, or worse than training in the professional wrestling ring. Sometimes this was cardio at its finest. So
Yes,
why don't you
yes.
explain what the mountain is?
The mountain is a cardio / strength and conditioning / muscle endurance exercise. It's where you're holding the mitts and you have your guy in front of you throwing punches. So you throw 2 straight shots, then you go down for a squat. When you come back up, you add 2 more punches to it. Okay. I set a number. So I say like 30. So you're doing 2 punches, you go down, come back up, do 4. Bump, 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 bump. Then you go back down 6. So they're adding up the whole way to 30. When you get to 30, you do it twice, and then you go down the mountain. So you go 30, 28, 26, 24, the whole way back down to 0. So for those of you that think it's easy, try it. It's a lot of punches. I don't know the math on it, but it's a lot, And Bubba was the reigning champ there for a while. He did the highest number, and even doing mitts. Bubba was doing 4-minute rounds of mitts. Where guys probably would gas in a minute and a half. You were doing a lot. That doesn't. That's not easy.
Thank you for but thank you. I mean, but it's hard. I mean, it's hard, and at that time, yeah, I've slacked off a little bit, people. So I mean, I still go and do stuff, and my body's beat up, but I still try to suck it up and do what I need to do.
Like I said, dude, you're the active member, the longest active member in Watkins Boxing history for 9 years. 9 years is a long time, dude.
Well, it's because I like you as a person. I like BSing and hitting some bags, and you know what I mean. Like it's always I mean, it's always a positive mental attitude when you're walking into your gym. Speaking of your gym, this is the some pictures of the inside. So
very big.
It is very big.
It is. Like I said, if I had pictures of the other one, you understand, like, wow, that's a big step up. And like I said, the high ceiling, you got the ring right there, you got the bags, so that made me feel like every time I walk into the gym, it's like a sigh of relief. It's just like, I did this. This is something that is,
Now you got a second level up there. I see.
Second level upstairs. Yep. I got a storage room in the back. Got an office.
Well, let me. I see some artwork on the wall. Who did your artwork?
Alan Alfalter. He came up. He used a projector, a cake projector, and inverted it to where they projected the images a little bigger. And then he took some images. I signed off on him and was like, yes, awesome. And he put them up there. Boom.
Yeah, that's great.
And yeah, he's a phenomenal artist. My daughter took lessons off of him. I don't think he does lessons anymore, but I think he still sells artwork at the Artist Hand. But he is a really, really, really good artist, as you can see with the pictures.
Well, your daughter, I've seen some stuff for your daughter, Drew. She's very good.
Yeah, she's really good. Yep,
and there's another angle.
Yep. So you can see some of the bags. You can see the rack back there. You can see the ring, different angle of the ring.
You got some new equipment the other day. You were putting it in. Yeah. Actually, today when I went in, you were getting some stuff. You got some.
Yes, I got some weightlifting equipment, some cardio equipment. The Westmoreland County Community College was getting rid of some of their stuff to make way for some new stuff, and they were getting rid of it at a decent price. So I was just like, yes, I will get it. Had to get a U-Haul, go out there, pick it up, which I thought was going to take 1 day, ended up taking 2 days, but that's okay. And the crew, the guys helped, unload the stuff, which I'm really thankful for. And Yeah, so we got some new stuff at the gym as
Well,
well.
that's good, people. You got to go see it. Go in and sign up. And there's
Yeah,
another. There's the
bags,
bags.
some strength and conditioning equipment with the medicine balls and the slam balls. But
And then
yeah.
you have another segment for the ropes and
Mm-hmm.
other
So,
rogue,
yeah.
yeah. And then the speed bags there's speed bags, everybody. There's I think 3, 4, whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
you can do so much in this gym. You don't need to lift. You can cross train and you can do whatever. You have the sleds, you got weights.
Yeah.
It's
I like a
overall.
lot of exercises that focus more towards boxing. I
Mhm.
did acquire some weightlifting stuff, and that's a lot for like the cardio classes and stuff like that, which I do like stations. You have your certain stations, like I got the row machine now. You can push the sled, battle ropes. You
Big
can
tires. You got big tires in there.
flipping tires, yeah, slamming slam balls down, hitting the bags. But yeah, like I said, I like the whole strength and conditioning. I mean, to be a boxer, you have to be very, very well in shape. So I mean, that's a big part of it. And so we're always constantly doing strength and conditioning. I take the guys out to the tracks. We run on the tracks. I take them to my house. We run the routes that I run on my house, up the hills, up the
Oh my
mountains.
God.
Yeah. So
Oh my God.
yeah.
Running. Once you say running, I checked out. I can't
I
run
know, I
anywhere.
know, I know, I know. But
It's
unfortunately, that's a big part of boxing. So
I know, I know.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm just too big to be running. But now you have classes, and I have a list now. Now Sundays you have 3 to 4 p.m. You have boxing sparring, so you're open 7 days a week,
No days off.
no
No
days
days off.
off.
No days off.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
And even on like holidays, I'll leave the gym open for open gym. But yeah, Sundays Sundays now for the guys that compete, we do a strength and conditioning program in the hour before the sparring. Then we do
Uh-huh.
sparring afterwards. Mondays is the kids class, 5 to 6 for the beginner class, 6 to 7 for the advanced class. Tuesdays is the boxing classes for the adults. The beginner class is 5 to 6, and the advanced class is 6 to 7. Wednesdays is the Muay Thai class. It's from 5 to 6. And then I do a sparring and cardio conditioning class from 6 to 7, which you can come in and spar, or you can do the strength and conditioning classes that I do. Thursdays is boxing, but I reverse it. So 5 to 6 is the advanced class, and then 6 to 7 is the beginner class for the people that can't make those times. Fridays is the kids class from 5 to 6. And then Saturdays is the cardio / sparring class from 10 to 11 on Saturdays.
Wow, you are fully your weekly calendar is just
Yeah,
loaded.
every
Now,
day.
what time, since you said it was always, what time do you open up?
The open gym starts at 10, but I
Okay.
do sessions as early as 7:30.
So you do
Depending on
private
people.
sessions one-on-one
Yeah.
also? Oh my
Yes. So I
gosh.
do those depending on your schedule. I try to work with people.
Uh-huh.
Um, I don't want to be there early, but I'll get there early. My kids, I usually leave for my kids to go to school. So the
Uh-huh.
earliest I can do them is 7:30. But I'll do them throughout the whole entire day. So I'll be there
Wow.
doing one-on-one sessions, doing group sessions. I used to have a class for the police officers, but seeing as how COVID happened, so that kind of broke up. So now I have like a group of borough cops that come in, Mike Rayco,
Wow.
Stifler, Zach Stifler,
Uh-huh.
Mike Lawson, all those guys. They come
That's
in, they
awesome.
train. Yeah, good
They,
guys.
so yeah, so now after COVID, so now you have like they have a training seminar, or they just come in and they
They
just
just
come in
come
and
in. Yeah, they
join
just come in
like
for. Yeah.
I do. Okay.
Well, they come in for the group class, so I'll do
Okay.
like four guys at once for a session, and they'll all come in, and then they'll spar afterwards or something.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, and I like that because I feel like being a police officer, you need to know how to defend yourself in
Yes.
all situations. You know what I'm saying? Me teaching them is going to help them in their fields. You know what I'm saying? So the
Right.
little bit I can do, I'm grateful for. You know, I'm all for the Indiana Borough police officers, even the state police officers. You know, I had a couple guys come in, Elliot, Garrett, all those guys, really good guys. Like I said, you know, I'm willing to help anybody. Doesn't matter how, doesn't matter age group. You know, I've had guys in there that are, you know, 60, 70. You know, I've had mentally disabled people come in, autistic people, you know, like I said, all it takes is patience. All you got to have is patience.
Well, you have patience. You have patience to actually, do what you're doing, and it's great. Like, and then you just gave your whole synapse of your whole weekly calendar for the month. For me, I do the monthly. Ladies and gentlemen, I do 50. I go in and hit the bags, and I could do anything, and I try to stay out of the way of his classes, but I do watch. And it is, you know what I mean? And I just work around everybody, and I go in like after work, but I try to go 3 or 4 times a week. And then, 15, 20 minutes just to get, it's a stress reliever for me. And I just want to still be part of it. I go lift weights and stuff, but also too, this is a different type of workout. Hitting the speed bags and hitting. I remember that, and I would, ladies and gentlemen, when I was starting off into this, I would look up stuff on videos, and I would send them. To Brandon when it was a small group of us. And then I'd show him, and then he's like, "Oh, well, Bubba showed me this video today. We're going to do this." And I'm like, "I'm not going to be doing this anymore," because it was, and then I would always be scared and upset when people couldn't make it. And it was a one-on-one class with me and him. A one-on-one class for an hour with Brandon Watkins is just, you're not doing nothing the rest of the night. But if you're going with a workout with Brandon one-on-one, it is one hell of a workout. So, I mean, I've done that a couple times, and I just shook my head. I'm like, "Oh, this ain't."
I enjoy those times we had, man. A lot of quality time.
I know. And it was, I mean, it's still, I mean, it's good stuff. You are very successful from the small thing in the back of a gym to where you're at now is just super, super huge. I mean,
and I still have a long way to go.
You're very humble, and being humble is the key, and you are very humble. So, and just, it's very hard with the marketing and the promoting. Like you said, it's very hard. And if you've got the community behind you, you got the police officers that respect you and do that. And then the kids respect you, and student athletes should be coming to Watkins Boxing to get their feet work and their hands quicker to play sports. Because if you're a football player, you're an offensive lineman, you got to have quick hands and feet. And that's the only way I believe that the local high schools should have these young athletes coming and talking to you, setting stuff up, and making, if they want to be a good football player instead of playing video games, you know what I mean, and doing stuff, get in there, especially in the summertime, and get ready, so, hopefully they get contact.
It translates well, to other sports. Like I said, I try to incorporate a lot of different drills, as far as like ladder drills, cone drills, hand and eye coordination drills, plyometrics, jump training, strength and conditioning. So, I mean, if this is not something that you want to do as far as a career or as far as a sport, like I said, it still translates into other things.
It's life.
Yes.
Honestly, you never know. Like this right here. I have headphones on, but due to what Brandon taught me, like it's like you're like Bubba. It's like answering a phone, like, and I took that shot at work to the head, and you know what I mean. It's like that. Like,
you never know what situation you're gonna be faced with, so it's better to be prepared than not to be prepared. If I could suggest boxing as far as like a school sport, I would definitely boom in there. Like, a lot of
any of the schools contact you? Any of the schools contact you to set something up yet? Not yet.
No, not so far. S&T is the only thing that's so far that's contacted me about doing things for the kids, which, like I said, I appreciate them. They help me with a lot of the kids programs, bringing kids in. Like I said, the kids are our future. So, I mean, we got to focus on them a lot.
I agree. Now, the location is 183. What's that, bud?
I said the kids don't have a lot of things to do around here, so I'm glad to be one of those things that kids can go to and have event, have something to do, have something to, like you said, take your aggression out, not get picked on, have confidence. So, I mean, That's
Well,
a big up.
it's a place that's a positive atmosphere with a positive mindset. And like I
Yes.
said, kids need that, and they don't need to play. Hey, I understand about people play video games and stuff, but also
Mhm.
too, if you work out and do work, it'll make you a better athlete in other sports. It'll make you a better person. It's just a lot of goodness out of boxing and out of your facility. So
Yes.
it's located on 1830 Oakland Avenue. Everybody, that is the address. You just drive in there, and you'll see it on the corner. Right behind Trot. Is it Trotter Steak? Trotter
Yes.
Steak Place? Yes. And
Hmm.
also it's by Hello Fitness.
Hmm.
So that is the facility where it's located. So I mean, yeah, I mean, I just we've always wanted to do this, and I'm so glad that you actually had the time, because I know you're busy, and come on and do this, and I want to do
Yes.
whatever I can to um, put the word out and help you. And I usually share it on my social media when you do stuff. I do it all the time. That's just how I am. But hey, I got a couple questions to
Yeah.
well, let me ask you the pricing. You can go on your site, and you have different pricings you know for different stages of the boxing. Like I
Yeah,
said, I
you
know
can
I
come in. You can come in for a class. You don't have to sign a contract or anything else like that. You can pay for each class if you want to. It's $15 per class. The one-on-one sessions are 35 for an hour. If you only want a half hour, it's 25. Group sessions, if you want multiple people, is $20 a piece. The open gym is $50, so you can just
right.
come in, do your own thing for 50
Hmm.
bucks. We do class passes for $100, so you can get all the classes, for $100. And then you can do a family pass. So we have a couple families that come in there for $200. You can have as many people in your family as you want to in your immediate family, not cousins and aunts, not so much. But if you have like
The
your
nuclear
mom,
family,
dad,
yeah.
yeah, mom, dad, kids, like I said, you had that picture up of the daughter and father, Lily and Greg. That they come in, the
They're in
mom
there all
comes
the
in
time. They're in there all the
all the
time.
time, all
Yeah.
the time. Just seen them today.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
So yeah. So it's definitely open for the public. There's no restriction as far as athletic ability. I try to have kids that are 6 and up. Just because if you have anything younger, they're usually still in play mode and they want to run around and do stuff. They're more attentive whenever they're a little bit older, but that's really the only restrictions. Other than that, anybody that walks off the street can come in. There's no, like I said, there's no contracts involved. If you ever want to not come, you don't have to come. It's not a big stress.
Okay. So where can people contact you before I got some questions for you. So where can people contact you if they wanted to get a membership or anything like that? How would they go about that? And how can they contact you on social media?
Instagram is 724 Watkins Boxing. Um, Facebook, Watkins Boxing. My number, 724-541-8571. But those are pretty much the only ways of getting. You can email me as well, Brandon Watkins 240 at yahoo.com. I take any kind of contact, but those are
And
usually
just
the
stop in personally and see it
stop
because you're
in.
there.
Yeah, you can stop
Yeah.
in. Yep,
Okay.
always there.
Well, yeah, you are, because I mean
Yeah.
you're training and doing stuff and training the future of tomorrow. So I got some questions. These are easy. They're not hard. I know we both went to Marion Center. You know what I mean. So so let me ask you, who was your favorite boxer? Number one boxer of all time, in your opinion?
Ooh. I have a lot. I have a
I know
lot
you
of
do.
guys that I like, but I would have to say my favorite would be Sugar Ray Robertson.
Okay. Why?
Because he was the first guy to do a lot of the movement that you see. Muhammad Ali emulated him. Sugar Ray Leonard emulated him. There's a lot of guys that you now know of that you don't know where they got the things from, and where they got it from was Sugar Ray Robertson, and that, in my opinion, was the best. He was powerful. He was fast. He had good footwork. He had good head movement. He was the all-around boxer. So in my opinion, Sugar Ray Robertson was my favorite.
Okay. Now, I've known you watched a lot of boxing matches over your life.
Mm-hmm.
Can you name the best boxing match you ever saw that comes to mind? I
Now,
know it's hard.
Is this like in
Ever.
general, like
Ever. Whatever. Ever. The best boxing match you ever saw that you're like, oh my God, it was 4 stars. And I know you saw a lot of them. And I know you watch a lot of
I would have to say, and it didn't last very long, I would have to say the war between Tommy Hearns and Marvin Hagler was probably my favorite boxing match all time.
Okay.
And it only lasted 3 rounds.
Yeah, but there's no right or wrong answer. This is what the first thing comes in your head.
Yep,
okay.
That's probably my fave, hands down.
Okay. This might be harder. This might be even harder. Your favorite movie of all time.
Ooh, movie. It's gonna go outside the boxing realm. It's gonna be No Country for Old Men. It's probably my favorite.
Okay. Yes. Okay, because I know you like the, okay. That was a good.
You thought it was gonna be boxing, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, no, I thought it would have been something else because we always talk about movies all the time. Now, outside of boxing and training and coaching, 1 or 3 hobbies that you have that you enjoy outside the boxing realm.
That's a hard one.
Is it?
Exercising. Does that count?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
That counts?
Yeah, that counts.
Okay.
No right or wrong answers.
Probably spending time with my kids. Whatever they do, I'm cool with. We watched Creed actually yesterday for Father's Day. Me and the kiddos watched Creed. I don't really do much. Honestly, I don't. I live a very boring life.
Well, that was my next question. What do you do? What do you do when you're not boxing?
I don't do I literally mowing the grass. If that's a hobby, if that's something that I do is for fun. I literally was doing that earlier today. So I mean, like I said, I don't really
we talk about it all the time.
Yeah, I don't stray far from the path. So like different martial arts, I did jiu-jitsu for a while, competed in jiu-jitsu, did taekwondo. I mean, that's cool. I want to get back into jiu-jitsu. I want to do some sort of MMA stuff. I just don't have the time for it. Shout out to ECS. They do a good job of what they're doing. I train one of their guys, Joey LaRocca. He's an animal, super nice guy, super nice, super talented kid. Had a 9-second knockout from one of his fights. Tapped the kid out in the second round in his last fight. He's fighting in West Virginia. I think it's in August. But he's just a really good guy all around. And, he comes to the gym. I teach him his striking. He goes to ECS for the ground game. But really cool kid. If you don't know who he is, check him out. I think his fights are on YouTube. But really, really, really good dude. But yeah, mainly for me, it's just like I like moving around. I like exercising. I like doing stuff. I like helping people exercise. So that's really where my passion is. The job that I had before that was tying rebar. That sucked. So that's really all I have.
Okay, no, there's no right or wrong. I was getting different questions. You know what I mean? I try to ask everybody 5 or 6 questions. It's different than what. You know what I mean?
I do like the superhero movies.
I know you do.
We always talk about the Marvel and the DC ones. I still got to watch the Flash, but yeah. So I'm not just all about boxing and fighting and stuff like that. But
right,
for the most part, yes.
Okay, this is the last question that I have.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay, one word that describes Brandon Watkins.
Oh my. Describe myself
in one word.
I would say loyal. If I was to say something about myself, I'm loyal to what I do. You know, if somebody needs me for any type of situation, I'm always there. If somebody needs me to talk to them, you know, I'll have your back. I will talk about, you know, kids. I'll talk about relationships.
Right.
You know, there's nothing there that, you know, will stop me from being.
Well, there's a lot of positive one words that I could describe you: hardworking, humble, generous. I mean, there's
I
tons
know
of,
it's hard to
yeah.
describe. It's hard to say that about myself. You know, I
I
don't
know.
like.
Well, I'll say it for you.
Okay,
I'll
you
say
don't
it for
say.
you.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, but it's hard. It's hard to, because you don't put yourself out there. You're
Not
very
really.
humble, and that's why I wanted the one word, and I knew that was going to be
I
it.
know.
Like,
I was just like, oh, what am I gonna
yeah,
say?
yeah. So, Brandon, I totally appreciate you coming on, and it was a great interview, man.
I'm glad you had me, man. This is awesome. You know, I'm not good talking, so it's
You
like
were
I was
great.
just like,
You're phenomenal.
I know.
No, you're great. You transitions everything. You were smooth. It was something for a person who never did this before. You seem like a
First
pro.
time.
Yeah.
First time. I still got a lot of working on to do. So hopefully, you know, I won't be as timid and afraid to do the next one, which there'll be more.
Oh,
There will be
I
more.
know.
I'll
And
jump on.
yeah, and like I said, I'll get this out. I'll put all your links, on the bottom when I do get this out. It'll be on my YouTube channel. It'll be on Spotify, and I'll put it out there. And everybody, please, if you're looking for something to do in Indiana County to for physical fitness, if you like boxing, you just want to get in shape, you just want to do something, go to Brandon Watkins at Watkins Boxing, and you won't regret it. You will not regret it, and and you keep going back. So Brandon, thank you so much for coming
Oh, thank you
on.
so much for having me. It was
Oh, it
awesome.
was
I enjoyed it.
thank you. I try. So, but everybody, thanks for tuning in. Please hit like and subscribe. And this is the Triple B Experience.
Exactly. Watch the Triple B Experience. Bubba is the man. Okay. The man. I can't
God
wait for
bless
your
you.
wedding, and I will be there to
I
support you
know.
100%.
We're gonna dance and drink a little sarsaparillas. Thank you, Brandon. Have a great night.
You
Thank you
too.
so much. Everybody, good night.